along with the correct makhraj, it must have all of its correct sifat. All. You can't miss any sifa out. If you take one sifa away, it is no longer that letter. That's very, very important. Yeah? One sifa, you take it away, it is no longer that letter. For example, in the letter Dad, the one that we're looking at, letter Dad, there's a sifa of isti'la, full mouth. And normally you think full mouth as not so important. Yeah? You just take that isti'la away, it is no longer the letter Dad. If it's no longer the letter Dad, then it's no longer part of the Quran. Quran is only the Arabic, it's only in Arabic language and no other language. When you have an English translation, it is not the Quran. Yeah? It does not follow the hukm of the Quran. If you've got a book with just pure English translation, no Arabic in there, it is not the Quran. Yeah? So you don't need to put a cover on it and put it into the top shelf with the adr. Yeah? Like what we do with the Quran, rather than read it. Yeah? So you don't need to, not that you don't need to, you give it respect. It's a translation of the Quran, it's linked with the Quran, but it does not follow the hukm of the Quran. Okay? That's important. It doesn't follow the rulings of Quran. So the way you would be mu'addab and respectful to the Quran, okay, not identical with English translation. So every letter must be pronounced from its correct makhraj, along with all of its correct sifat, every single sifat, especially the lazima ones, the permanent ones. The temporary ones, that's where you've got a bit of a leeway. Yeah? Okay. So how do we read the letter Dad? Okay. So we wrote the points here yesterday. I took all of them from the Sifat al-Lazima. Hams and Jahar, to do with breath. Hams, continuation of breath. Jahr, stoppage of breath. So look, what do we have to do with the letter Dad? We got to stop the air, the breath. The breath must stop. If it doesn't stop, it's no longer the letter Dad. Next one, Shidda or Rakhawa, with tawassut in the middle. What's that to do with? The sound. Shidda is where the sound stops. Rakhawa is where it continues. And tawassut's in between. Like the example of Ayn. Yeah? Iyaka na'bud. That dip in sound. That must happen. If you're reciting as Iyaka na'bud. Incorrect. Yeah? The sound must dip. Yeah? It mustn't stop. You can't stop the sound, but there must be a dip in sound. So that's the quality of sound. So the letter Dad fits in which category? Yeah? It continuous sound. So we continue the sound. The next thing about the raising, isti'la, raising the back of the tongue. Istifal, lowering the back of the tongue. Letter Dad fits in which side? Isti'la. We need to raise the tongue. Yeah? Raise the tongue meaning the back of the tongue. Okay? The next one, itbaq or infitah. Itbaq, the roti boti, and infitah, open. Yeah, that's your infitah. Roti with the boti. Look, I've caught it. But as soon as I do this, it's out. Yeah? So what are we going to be doing? We're closing the tongue. So itbaq. That's also a must in the letter Dad. Okay? Then the next category, number 5, which was ismat and idlaq. I mentioned to you at the bottom of that page, there's a little sentence that states that these two sifat, ismat and idlaq, have nothing to do with the quality of sound, meaning it doesn't affect our recitation. It won't affect our recitation. So hence why I didn't write it here. Okay? Then, now these are the two sifat. This is the category where there's opposites. Yeah? Opposites. Then there's one category where there's no opposites, which were like lean, doesn't have an opposite. Qalqala doesn't have an opposite. Tafashi doesn't have an opposite. Also, there was a sifa called istitala. Istitala means to tawil, to stretch. Yeah? So, that's, and the letter of istitala is letter dad. So that sifa is only in letter dad. Only in letter dad, meaning khas bid-dad. Meaning it's particular, specific to dad. Just like qalqala is particular to qaf, ta, ba, jim and dal. Tafashi, particular to sheen. Takreer, particular to ra. Leen, waw and ya. Yeah? So them sifat are not applicable to all the letters. Whereas these categories, these groupings are applicable to every single letter. So the entire Arabic alphabet can be divided into hams and jahr. Entire Arabic alphabet can be divided into shidda, tawassut and ikhawa. Entire Arabic alphabet can be divided into isti'la and istifal. Entire Arabic alphabet can be divided into itbaq and infitah. And again, the entire Arabic alphabet can be divided into izlaq and ismat, which I have not written. Okay? So now to do the letter dad correctly, we need to stop the A, we need to continue the sound, we need to raise the tongue, we need to close the tongue to the palate, yeah? Roti boti, and we need to stretch as well. So how are we going to do all of that? Now we don't need to do it in this sequence. You know the sequence like hamsa jar first, then shidda or khawa, then isti'la, infitah, and then you got the itbaq and infitah. It doesn't have to be in that sequence. So we need to look which one's applicable first. So the main thing we need to do, easiest one is roti boti and raising the tongue. Yeah? So we raise the back of the tongue, that's not hard. And roti boti, itbaq, this one here. Why? Because that's going to trap the sound. Yeah? That's going to trap the breath. Remember the first one, stop the air. So that's going to be only accomplished with al-itbaq. Okay. Continue the sound. How are we going to continue the sound? With the sifa of what? Istitala. Istitala. Raise the tongue. Okay. Al-istila. Close, trap. Itbaq again, roti boti. Okay. The last one, stretch the tongue. Which one is that? Again, the same one again. Out of all of these, so we're stopping the air, yeah, the breath. We use what? Itbaq. Continue the sound. That sound there, sound, istitala. Raise the tongue, isti'la from the back of the mouth. We close the tongue, itbaq. Stretch the tongue, istitala again. So if you look, 1, 2, 3 sifat. They're your 3 dominant sifat, yeah, that you need to keep in mind whilst reading the letter dad. So the first one was, we need to trap. So all of your sides, so imagine these are your teeth. Yeah? So your tongue, when it goes up, it will touch every single tooth in your mouth. Even though, when you read the definition of letter dad, the makhraj, it was the right hand side, or the left hand side, or both of the side. Yeah? But both is difficult. So we keep the right and the left. Yeah? The right or the left hand side of the tongue. Using the al-adras teeth. The side premolars and molars and your laughing teeth. From your dawahik going backwards. Your laughing teeth, going backwards. So now with your tongue, the makhraj was the side of the tongue touching the teeth. But all of a sudden, I'm telling you, every single part of the tongue is touching your teeth. Walad, walad. Try it. Okay, touch. Okay? All of your teeth are touching the whole of your tongue. So it's not about where your tongue touches or where your tongue doesn't touch. Brother Hasib, you can send me the link as well. So it doesn't really make a difference on where, which teeth it touches, okay? Because it's not just about touching the teeth. Because if it was just about touching the teeth, then majority of our letters or makharij would have to change. Yeah? For example, try reading the letter Ma. Read Maliki and think about the meme. Maliki. What's your tongue touching? Your tongue. Why does it float in the middle? Yeah, but what's it touching? Think about what is it actually touching? Bottom teeth. It's touching all of your bottom teeth. But where's the makhraj though? Lips. Your tongue's touching something. Try reading ba. Ba, same thing. Your tongue is touching all the teeth. But does it make a difference? No. Okay, think of another letter. Kha. Kha. Where's your tongue? Haran? Yeah. So again, it's touching the same area again. Yeah? So your teeth will touch. There's some students in Bangladesh that need to link. So your tongue will touch all the teeth. So it doesn't mean because it's touching this part of the tooth or these three teeth extra, that's going to be incorrect. No. So it'll touch extra. But the key thing is, where is the makhraj? Where are you applying the pressure to? So the pressure is the key. If that's your tongue, the first thing we're going to do is what? Stop the air. What we're going to do, itbaq. The tongue touches all of the teeth because we need to trap it. So now it's not about the makhraj of letter dad was, the hafat al-lisan, the right hand side with the al-adras teeth. That was the definition in makharij. Or the left hand side, hafat al-lisan with the adras teeth. Or both of them together. That was the definition of the makhraj. But in application, that's flawed. Hence why makharij al-huruf is not enough to read the Quran correctly. That's your dalil, that's your evidence. Somebody says, no, I've studied makharij very good. Or teachers teaching the qaida students just the makharij. Yeah, that's enough. No. You could teach the child the makhraj of a letter, but in your explanation, you need to be explaining all of this for that letter. You need to tell the child, make sure the air stops. You don't need to tell the child, itbaq, because he's going to be like, what's itbaq? Yeah? Talk about roti boti, then you have to get him some roti boti. Practical examples. So stop in the A. You need to explain that to the child. Continuation of the sound, you need to explain that to the child. Whilst teaching the letter dad. Raise the back of the tongue. When you're teaching the child about full mouth or empty mouth, it's crucial, it's very important, because you can't do it any other way. So back here now, the tongue's gonna touch. Now where was the makhraj? The makhraj of the letter is here. That's the makhraj. Up to here. From here to there. That's the makhraj. All the teeth are touching. Okay, that's because of itbaq. So itbaq is your most important sifa. Okay, next thing, you need to continue the sound. Okay, but before we continue the sound, we come to istitala. Sorry, not istitala. Isti'la. Isti'la. We raise the back of the tongue. So, walad, walad, walad. Okay. Then we bring the istitala. Istitala is the stretching. So we actually literally move the tongue forward. So you're stretching the tongue forward. If you look at my face sideways, walad, wrong. walad, wrong. Walad, okay. Walad, right. See how I'm pushing everything. Walad. Yeah? So it's not just your lips, everything moving forward. I'm not just moving my lips, it's the tongue behind it that's coming forward. Walad. Push. Walad. Yeah. That's important now. That sound, okay, that's where the continuation of sound is continuing. So, itbaq, touch, isti'la, raise the back of the tongue. Yeah? Walad, I've raised the back of the tongue. Istitala, I'm pushing the tongue forward. Okay. Imagine I'm doing it from the right hand side. Yeah? So if I'm doing it from the right hand side, that's the side I'm going to read my letter Dod from. Okay. So the air comes up, sound comes up, and when it comes here, it's blocked. It's got no exit. Walad, roti boti, you've trapped the air, the sound of the letter Dod. Then when you do your istitala, whichever side you're doing your istitala on, that side becomes weak. Yeah? So it's like, for example, imagine there's 10 people. Yeah? 10 people stood next to me. We're trying to guard this whiteboard, or we're trying to guard the front of the masjid. If we all stood shoulder to shoulder here, yeah, we're very, very weak, or we're very, very strong. Can anybody pass through us? Are we weak or strong? Strong. Because we're shoulder to shoulder, we're together. Imagine we all separated and stretched out. There's going to be what? Weak. Similar. So we have to make that makhraj of the letter Dad weak. How do we make it weak? Istitala. We're stretching it out. Just like a balloon. When you blow up a balloon into a small size, tie a knot on it, and it becomes very squidgy and squodgy. You could even probably stand on it and it won't pop. Yeah? But when you stretch it out, yeah, you stretch that balloon to its maximum capacity, you put all of your lungs into it, tie a knot on it, put it on the floor, then try it. Okay? It'll pop. Okay. Similarly with your tongue. When you've done the istitala, you've weakened the sides, whichever side you're going to be doing the letter Dad from. Once you weaken the side, then you're forcing what you've trapped towards that weak side. Yeah? So you're forcing it to the right, you're forcing it to the left, or from both sides. Now it's very difficult to force it from both sides. Yeah? I don't think many can do that. Very difficult. So forcing it from both sides, when you've got a weak connection between the tongue and the al-adras teeth, what happens then? Pop. And with that pop, you'll see a little bubble or little puff, yeah, in your cheeks. So, walad da, walad da, walad da. Okay, there's no sakt in this. There's no pause. I'm stopping just to emphasize walad da. Yeah, but normally I would read it as walad da, walad da. I wouldn't stop the sound. I'm only stopping the sound just to demonstrate to you. Again, walad da, da. It's that puff. Yeah, walad da. Now, if you can do it from both sides, walad da, walad da. Then it's both sides. Now, the difficulty with the both sides is when you're puffing the letter Dad out from both sides, there's 99% of the chance that you will end up reading from the front of your tongue, the letter Dad. Yeah? And this would be secondary, like a little blowout. But you're reading the letter from here. Hence why loads of people in India, India roughly 100, 120 years ago, maybe more or less, there was a war within the Muslims between the ulama. And the ulama got killed over the letter Dad. Okay? So, two sects in Aqidah, I don't want to mention the names, you probably already know the names, more than I do. But two different sects, one is reading the letter waladda correctly. One is reading as waladhalin. Waladhalin, dua, wa. And they bring the waw from the lips because it becomes easier. So, waladda, dua, dua. The sound's coming from the front, from the lips. Yeah. So it makes it very easy. But that's incorrect way of reciting the Quran. It is not part of the Quran. And because the one who was reading it incorrectly, they were very influential with billions and billions of followers. Yeah. So if I'm reciting the Quran incorrectly and I'm popular, I got a big following, all of my followers are going to be reciting it incorrectly. So, and the ulama always fought, like the Hanafis always fought the Shafis, and the Shafis fought the Malikis, and the Malikis fought the Hanbalis. There's been loads of wars, and because everyone believes that they're correct. So avoid reading it from the front. Okay, it's from the either side, and that's why Imam Ibn Jazari mentions read from the right, read from the left, and the left is easier. Okay? Imam Ibn Jazari writes, left is easier. The Prophet ﷺ recited from both sides, right and left. But the Prophet ﷺ was, perfect. Does that make sense now? I can change that letter for any other letter. For example, meme, noon, and you put the same formula. Yeah, so when you're teaching, if you want to take a picture of that, by all means, take a picture of it. But same thing you need to do. Diagram, write the sifat out, and then write out exactly what you need to do for the student. This is what we need to do in this letter. This letter must have this, must have this, must have this. Without that, you're not going to be understanding makharij and sifat. Any questions on that? That's sifat's finished. I'm going to go on to Miscellaneous Mutaqaribain. If you just put the phone and slide it forward, I'll take it for you. Anybody wants to take a picture? You got the picture? It's on the video, yeah? You can screenshot it in the video on YouTube. Okay, now the next topic we're going to be doing, Mithalain, Mutaqaribain, Mutajanisain. That is one of the most confusing topics in Tajweed. Mithalain, Mutaqaribain, Mutajanisain are again to do with what? Idgham. No. Mutashabihat is something different. Mutashabihat is where the similarity in words in the Quran. For example, Inna alladhina amanu comes how many times in the Quran? But after Inna alladhina amanu, it changes. Or Ya alladhina amanu ku anfusakum. Ya alladhina amanu sallu alayhi. Ya alladhina amanu and something else. Okay? That's mutashabihat. If you all turn to page number 58. Even though in the book, he actually mentions these two the other way around. He mentions Mithalain, Mutaqaribain, Mutajanisain. But when I teach from Mithalain, Mutajanisain, then Mutaqaribain. You'll understand why. here they mention إن في الصفات والمخارج اتفق حرفان فالمثلان فيهما أحق وإن يكونا مخرجا تقاربا وفي الصفات اختلفا يلقبا متقاربين أو يكون اتفقا في مخرج دون الصفات حققا. He mentioned in في الصفات, when in characteristics in the صفات الحروف والمخارج اتفقا, they متفق, they agree, they're identical, meaning the one letter, its sifat, its makhraj agrees with another letter's makhraj and sifat, they're identical basically. What we're going to call it? حرفان فالمثلان, مثلين فيهما أحق, exact same. Yeah. Now look, the two key things here. They mention two things. Number one, characteristics and makhraj. So makhraj, if you notice when I started teaching in the beginning, how do I describe the word makhraj? Where the letter is born. I keep using the word born. Born. And why born? Because the letter is born. It didn't exist before that. Yeah? So first thing, place, actually. So two things that we're going to be looking at for is birth, place. The second thing, characteristics. They're the two things that we're looking at for in every single letter. So in Mithlain, both letters are identical in place of birth. Yeah? So birth, identical. Number two, characteristics are identical. Example, meme and meme. So when you have one meme and another meme. So meme, makhraj is ma, lips. Second meme, ma, same. Okay. If the first meme is an empty mouth, yeah, second one's going to be empty mouth because identical. There's not going to be no differences because they're identical. Yeah, makes sense. So when you have two brothers that are identical or two sisters that are identical, what are they called? Twins. The Mithlain is twins. Easy to remember. What kind of twins as well? Siamese twins. Not like twins, one's a boy, one's a girl. No, identical. There's no difference between the two. Both of their mothers are same. Characteristics are same. That's the thing you have to remember. Mother is the same, characteristics are identical. Mithlain, that's what Mithlain is. Simplest way to understand. Then they mention وَإِن يَكُونَ مَخْرَجًا تَقَارَبًا. Okay? وَإِن يَكُونَ, and if it happens to be makhrajan, the point of exit, meaning place of birth, taqaraba, it's qareeb, close. So, which one have they taught you first? Mithlain. Which one they're teaching you next? This one. So I don't really like that sequence. Yeah? It confuses the student. Okay? that will go through the way they've done it. So if the makharaj, the sifat are different, makharij the qareeb. Okay? And what did they mention? We're going to call you what? وفي الصفات اختلف يلقب متقاربين. Where it says متقاربين in line number 3, draw a little line after it. Third line, where it says متقاربين, draw a line after it or a big comma. I'll tell you why. That word متقاربين is actually connected with the previous line. So listen to line number 2 again. Line number 2. وَإِن يَكُونَ مَخْرَجًا تَقَارَبًا. If the makhraj is qareeb, close, وَفِي الصِّفَات, and in characteristics, اختلفا, the mukhtalif, then they mention يُلَقَّبَ مُتَقَارِبَيْن. Sentence finishes at the word مُتَقَارِبَيْن, meaning يُلَقَّبَ, give it the laqab, the title of مُتَقَارِبَيْن. So مُتَقَارِبَيْن is connected with the previous, not with what's coming after. The sentence doesn't start from مُتَقَارِبَيْن. It starts after that. Oh. Okay? So after the word مُتَقَارِبَيْن, put a line. Third couplet, yeah? First word. After that first word, put a line. Because that word is connected with the previous couplet. Yeah, perfect. Makes sense, yeah? So they're giving the definition first, then the last word they say, يُلَقَّبَ al-Mutaqaribain. Give it the title of, the laqab of Mutaqaribain. So, what's Mutaqaribain now? Number 1 and number 2. So, the two things have they mentioned to us in that sentence. وَإِن يَكُونَ مَخْرَجًا تَقَارَبًا. If the makhraj, the birthplace is close. Okay? So, birth is what? Close. It's not identical. Okay, the next thing, وَفِي الصِّفَات اختلفا. And the sifat will be different. So the characteristics is going to be makes sense. Let's look at an example. For example, dal and sin. So what's the makhraj of dal? Where did it come from? Dal. So it comes from tarf al-lisan. Yeah, so no. From the tip of the tongue, tarf al-lisan, to the sanaya ulya, the upper teeth. Bugs Bunny. Where does sin come from? Also tarf al-lisan. But from where? As-sanaya sufla. One's above, one's below. They're very close in makhraj. The makhraj is very, very close between dal and sin. They're not far. And in characteristics, they're different. So now apply this, like I said here, the twins. So now give an example of this now. So birthplace is close, meaning me and my hala's son, what we normally call Masir. Yeah? So my mum and my cousin's mum are sisters. So my makhraj, my cousin's makhraj are qareeb. They're relatives, aren't they? And obviously I'm better than them. Yeah? We always are. So mutaqaribain are your relatives. Easiest way to understand. So when somebody says to you, yeah, what is mutaqaribain? Then you can start thinking, yeah, the makhraj is close, the sifat differ, it's a mind. It's difficult. So mutaqaribain, yeah, the key word in there is qareeb. In Arabic, cousins and relatives are called aqarib. In Urdu we say as well, aqarib or rishdar. Yeah? Qareeb. The word qareeb, mutaqarib, yeah, mutaqaribain, qareeb. Easiest way to remember it, mutaqaribain. Okay, so what's mutaqaribain? Something that's close, meaning one makhraj is here, second makhraj is here. If the makhraj are close, yeah, they're different, the makhraj. The birth is close. Yeah, the makhraj is very close. So the characteristics, are they going to be identical? Even if two letters came from the same makhraj, they can't have the same identical characteristics. Like for example, Jim and Sheen. They're both from Wast al-Lisan. They're both in the middle of the tongue. Jim has qalqala, Sheen has tafashi. So obviously that's going to be different in character. That's without, you don't have to be an Einstein or Abu Adam to know that. Okay? So you know that straight away. The birthplace is close and the characteristics are definitely going to be different. We are always better than our cousins, right? We're number one, they're number two. So that's your mutaqaribain. So I normally, okay, let's continue. Then they mention O. Okay, line number 3. After the word mutaqaribain. So mutaqaribain is connected with the previous line. So after the word mutaqaribain, the word O. O means O. Yeah, meaning there's a third one now. The first one was mithlain, second one mutaqaribain. Now we come to the third one. Third one they mention, aw yakuna, and it happens to be, what happens to be? Ittafaqa. Ittafaqa meaning the muttafiq. Muttafiq meaning they agree. Agree meaning the same. Yeah? Fi makhrajin, in the makhraj. They are same in makhraj. Okay? Duna sifat meaning without the characteristics. Meaning one makhraj, one mother, okay, 2 letters, but each one has a different characteristic. Yeah? Hukika happens to be bil mutajanisain. Okay? Bil mutajanisain. Then we're going to call them mutajanisain. So again, number 1. So birth identical. 2, character is different. That's why I switched it around. And so this is going to be does that make sense? Here now, mutajanisain means the jins is the same. Yeah? So jins means, in Arabic, jins means, it has loads of meanings. One of the meanings is of the same type. Yeah? Same type. Same naw. Yeah? Like for example, BMW 3 Series, BMW 5 Series. Yeah? So it's the same type, same company, same umbrella, same shirka, same organization, but one is a 3 Series, one's a 5 Series, one's a 2 Series, one's a 1 Series. Yeah? So the different sizes, the different characteristics. A 3 Series is different from a 5 Series. Yeah? Make sense? Okay. So that's what jins literally means. Same type, same company. Okay. So by saying the word jins, meaning same, they're referring towards the birthplace, identical. Yeah? Because a 3 Series is born at BMW. A 5 Series is also born at BMW. Probably. I didn't know that. Something new, I'll check it up. J-E. How do you spell it? G-E-N-U-S. I'll check it up. That's where it's going to come from then. Okay. So same jins, same group. So meaning the birthplace is identical and the sifat are going to be different. Okay. The reason why I mentioned siblings, because that's like me and my brother. We're both born from the same mother. Yeah? I'm born in 84, he's born in 82. He's 2 years older. So we're different. Even though we've got the same makhraj, our characters are different. I'm taller. He's shorter. You understand? Two brothers, identical makhraj, but characters are different. I'm quite loud. He's very quiet. I'm moody. He's not. I'm stronger. He's weak, obviously. Yeah? I'm more intelligent. Obviously, he's not. Yeah? Yeah? So, even though you're both born from the same mother, but your characteristics are going to be different. It could even be, I'm born from a mother, my sister's also born from a mother, but I'm a male and she's a female. We're still from the same jins, same place. And characteristics, we will 100% differ. Does that make sense? Look at dal and ta, or the one that I mentioned before, sheen and jim. Does that make sense? Make sense, yeah? Any questions on that so far? Without this top line here, you wouldn't be able to understand it. This is the sheikh that I know. He says to me, we teach Tuhfat al-Atfal to 8 years old children in Manchester. And I thought, no, it's impossible. They won't understand this. Child would never understand this. Very, very difficult to explain. Because you have to remember that the idgham is the biggest topic within the subject of the Tajweed. So look at idgham, we started off from where? Noon sakina rule, mim sakina rule, ghunna, we had idgham in there as well. After that, we done what? Lam shamsi and kamariya, there's idgham in there as well. After that, we've come here now. The whole topic is about idgham, 5. After this, we're going to go on to the next subject of madud, there's idgham there as well. Idgham don't finish. Whichever part of the Tajweed you look at, you will find idgham, assimilation, where 2 letters are merging into one. You're going to find this everywhere. The idgham is the biggest topic. Might not be the longest topic, yeah? Or the longest thing like a mad, for example. Idgham is the most taught or most discussed topic. I'll explain to you afterwards, or your brother will explain it to you. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Nope. Okay, now let's move on. So, bil mutajanisain. So the word mutajanisain, after that you put a line as well. Line number 4. Line number 4. Yeah? Because why? Remember, Mutaqaribain was connected with the previous verse. Mutajanisain is also connected with the previous verse. So, on line number 3 where it says, oh, that's where the sentence starts from. Oh, يكون اتفق في مخرج دون الصفات حقق بالمتجانسين full stop. Then they mention ثم. ثم, then. In second, if it has to be sakin, I mean the first letter is sakin. Yeah? Because to do idgham, the first one has to be sakin, second has to be mutaharrik. That's the rule. Remember? I mentioned that in the beginning. So, ثم in second, أول كل فالصغير سميا. If it happens to be that the first word, the first letter is already a sakun. Yeah? And the second one is mutaharrik. We're going to call it what? Saghir. Idgham saghir. So it'll become al-idgham mithlain saghir. Al-idgham mutajanisain saghir. Al-idgham mutaqaribain saghir. We call it saghir. Why? Because, look, say for example, the example has been given here. Okay. So for example, Abad. That's a very easy example. You'll find this in the Quran, in Surah Al-Kafirun. Abad. Abad. There's a kalkala here on the dal. Abad. Abad. Yeah? There's a schoon on top of it. There's already a sakin. Yeah? The next one is the ta. Dal and ta. Are the same makhraj, different makhraj? Same makhraj. Are they the same characteristics? No, different. It's going to be wakan. Siblings. Yeah? Same makhraj, same mum, but differ in characteristics. So, abad, tum. Dal goes into the letter ta. But for that to happen, the dal must have a sukoon, which it already has. It's very easy. We just take that dal, put it into the ta, and we read it as abat, abattum, abattum. And this is already done for you in the Quran. If you open your Surah Al-Kafirun, it's already been done there for you. You don't have to use no intellect, no tajweed. Yeah? None of your qualifications, degrees and doctorates. It's already been done for you. The ulama have already done that for you. Abattum. That's called idgham saghir. Why? Because it's already a sakin. It's simple. So what's an idgham kabir? So then they mentioned in the last line, أو حرك. Or it happens to be mutaharrik. The letter has a fatha damma kasra. Which letter? The first letter. Al-harfani, both of them, meaning the first and the second letter, they both had to have a zabar zero pesh on it. في كل فقل كل كبير وافهمنه بالمثل. They go, then we're going to name it idgham kabir and understand it with examples. Okay, so Imam Jamdul is saying, I don't have the energy to explain it to you. Yeah? So understand it with examples. So what's the example here now? Look at the. Here, for example, I'll give you an example of mithlain. Okay. Ta'ala. What surah is that from? ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. Yeah? كيف فعل. What can you see there? Which two letters can you do idgham in? Fa and fa. Yeah. Okay. Same makhraj and sifat are same, identical. So identical in makhraj, identical in characteristics. Sister, can you see that side? Okay. So kayfa fa'ala. So two letters, fa and fa. Both of them are the same makhraj, same in characteristics. But the difference now is that the first fa also has a fatha, meaning a haraka. It's got movement. It's dancing. Yeah, haraka means to move. So kayfa fa'ala. So now to merge this, what do we have to do? To do idgham. Put the shadda on this fa. What about this fa? What do I have to do to it? Sakoon. I must make it sakin. I have to temporarily drop that zabar off, the fatha off, temporarily. Why? And then I can move it into the second fa. When it goes into the second fa, there's going to be two fas in here now. When there's two fas, automatically it's going to get a shadda. So how am I going to read it now? كيف فعل كيف فعل. That's called idgham kabir. Why kabir? Because we have to do so much mehnat. We have to make one letter sakin temporarily, then pick it up, then chuck into the other one, then go and get the shad and put it on top of there, and then we can read it. That's so much hard work. Yeah? We have to actually work for that. Hence why it's called idgham kabir. So this can be idgham al-mithlain kabir. And this one here, saghir. Why saghir? It's already a sakin. You don't have to do no work, no minute, nice and easy. You come and it's been done for you. The tasheed's already been done there for you. Somebody's done all the work for you. You just come and sit in the restaurant and eat the roti and boti. No pressure. Whereas this one, you have to go and do the atta yourself, and then hard work. Ask your mother, very hard work. No, ask your wife, very hard work. No, we don't read it, but Prophet ﷺ did read like that. You remember we were talking about the 10 different ways of reciting the Quran, 10 different schools? One of the schools, one of their rawis is called Imam Susi. Imam Susi recites this as Alam tara kayf fa'ala. And not just fa'ala. What's after the fa'ala? Fa'ala, then Rabbuka. What's lam and ra? Think here. Makhraj al lam, makhraj al ra. Are they identical makhraj? They're relatives. Why the relatives? Very close. Not the same makhraj. Yeah? Like I said, I think I mentioned this to you. There's one particular qaida that I seen a few years back where they had put lam, noon and ra as one makhraj. Same makhraj. And then I wrote to their headquarters in Karachi. And I argued, no, that's a mistake, because lam, noon and ra, the three, according to Imam Ibn al-Jazari, are not one makhraj. There are three different makharij. And writing them into as one makhraj, they said to me, it doesn't make a difference, Qari Sahib, you're making a big deal out of it. I said, no, it's a very big deal. Because this then changes the whole dynamics. Is fa'ala rabbuka mutaqaribain? And if it's the same makhraj, it'll be mutajanisain then. Big difference. So which category do you put these at? Yeah? And then plus the pronunciation. So can I read, lam is the side, front side here on the edge. Noon is in the middle. Can I switch it around? Can I read the lam from the middle and read the noon on the sides? Like, inna alladhina. Or I read the ra from one side. Can I do that? No. It's not the same makhraj. There's three different makharij. That's like me saying, can I read my hamza from the makhraj of kha? You can't. Yeah? But there is an opinion that lam, noon and ra is one makhraj as well. Okay? And that's by somebody called Imam Farra. Imam Farra, he was a grammarian, humongous, gigantic scholar. Yeah? And he had the opinion that lam, noon and ra is one makhraj. But having said that, he didn't differ on the placement. So for example, this musalla here is your tongue. Yeah? So if the noon is from the middle here, the ra is from the right and the left, and the lam's here, yeah? He didn't argue with that. He agreed with that. Yes, ra is from sides, noon is from the middle, and that. But he said they're all from tarful lisan. Not tarf, the front part of the tongue. So he said that front part of the tongue, I classify as one makhraj. They can be a bit there, bit there, bit there. Yeah, but it's still one makhraj. But he didn't argue about the pronunciation. Imam Ibn Jazari argued with that opinion and said, no, by putting the three different types of letters into one makhraj will confuse the bachara child, Abu Adam. He's going to get confused. He's not going to be able to understand this. Why? Because noon got ghunna in there, lam has inhiraf in there, ra has takreer in there. Three totally different letters. How can you put them into one category and confuse people? Hence why Imam Ibn Jazari opened it up and said, no, lam is a makhraj, noon is a makhraj, and ra is a makhraj. And Imam Ibn Jazari, he is the hujjat in Tajweed and Qira'at. We follow Imam Ibn Jazari blindly. Yeah? He says we do this, yes, how do we do that? That's muttafiqun alayh. Everyone agrees upon that. Imam Ibn al-Jazari. So here now, Imam Susi would also, Lam and Ra, the Qareeb in Makhraj, differ totally in its characteristics. So to do the idgham, we take away the fatha and the lam becomes sukoon, take the lam into the ra and give that a tashdid. So how do you read that now? فَعَرَّبُّكَ. Okay, now read from the beginning. أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. Again, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. That's the riwayah of Susi. So they do every single idgham kabir in the whole Quran. Every single idgham kabir. So, الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين. ميم and ميم مثلين. Okay? They will do the idgham. Make sense? Any question on that now? Idgham saghir, small, is when the first letter already has a sukoon. Kabir, when you have to physically do something. Remember, adding a letter, taking a letter from the Quran is kufr. Making a sakin letter, mutaharrik, sukoon into fatha, kufr. Making a fatha letter into a sukoon is kufr. Do you understand? It's a big thing that we're doing. It's not something small, but because this is yajuz, permissible. Why? The Prophet ﷺ did that himself. Every single qira'ah, every single dialect, the Prophet ﷺ recited that way. If not, the Sahaba would never have done that. The Sahaba never done it, then Tabi'een wouldn't have done it, Taba Tabi'een wouldn't have done it, Salaf al-Salihin wouldn't have done it, Imam Jazari wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't have done it. Remember, Tajweed is chain is passed on. I learned it from my teacher, his teacher, to Imam Ibn Jazari. The name that I'm giving you, Imam Jazari, he's my great teacher. And there's no break in between. So whatever I learned from my teacher, I'm telling you the same. So then you'll tell your student the same and it'll get passed on. So فَعَرْ رَبُّكَ idgham kabir. That's your idgham section totally finished. And on the other side, you've got loads of examples on page number 61. فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Yeah, Mr. Lane. فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ يُدْرِكْكُمْ. So loads. And then examples of mad. Now, يُدْرِكْكُمْ, yeah. Okay, then look at the second table. It says the examples of mad letters that do not merge. So, الذي is sakin here. The ya is sakin, yeah? الذي. I'm looking at 61, the second table. First one. الذي, ya is sakin. After that is yen, ya, with the fatha on it. The first one's sakoon, second one's got zabr on it. The identical letters, mithlain. Do we do idgham? No. Why? Because he has a sifah of mad. Makes sense? Now, what's actually a mad? Mad is not an actual letter. It's the characteristic of stretching. So mad, you wouldn't call it a letter. So this is idgham between two letters. Mad is not a letter. So how can you put that? Yeah? Like alif, it's not a letter. It's a sifah of elongation. Yeah? So you're not gonna do idgham. So all of these examples, you can see them, they're all mad letters. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَنْ. تَفْعَلُوا mad وَلَنْ. You're not going to do idgham between the two. Yeah? آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا. آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا. You're not going to do idgham in these. Then examples of mithlain kabir. وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ فِيهِ. So how are you going to read that? وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ فِيهِ. Wama. Yeah. Same with the وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا. How you can read that? وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا. Next one. وَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ. Next one. عدد السنين. No, idgham kabir are not in our hafs. Yeah, both of them are. Yeah. So the first letter has a motion, haraka, fatha dhamma kasra. Second one has fatha dhamma kasra. But to do idgham, we must make the first one sakin. It has to happen. If not, you can't merge them. Yeah. Okay, then you got loads of examples. You could read through all of them in your time. Let's go to page 64. There's loads of examples in the book that you can read. So now this is the last topic in Tuhfat al-Atfal. Al-Mudud. Mad is from the word madda yamuddu, which means what? To stretch, elongate. Okay? Madda yamuddu, to stretch something. Okay, so mudud. Mudud is plural for mad. Mad means one. Mad means to stretch, to make something long. Okay? And what are the mad letters? Anybody? Y. Yeah? Y. Y. Yeah? So they are Y letters. Waw, alif, and ya. These are your letters of madud. Okay. Madud are divided into two categories. So first one, I'm going to put it here because it's a very small category. Asli. Okay? And then the second category is called Far'i. Asli means original, authentic. Okay? Original, not fake. You want to be saying asliya. It's asli. Okay? Yeah, 100% authentic. Okay? So that's asli. What does far'i mean? No. Far'i is from the word furu', which means like a branch. Okay? Extended, extra, elaborated, additional. Yeah? So like imagine asl as a tree trunk. The tree trunk and the roots in the ground, yeah? That's the asl, that's the core of the tree. And far'i is like the branches. Yeah? The wind blows this way, branches go this way. Wind blows the opposite way, the branches will go that way. Far'i, they'll change. But does the tree trunk actually move? No. Do the roots move underneath? No. They're solid. So that's your roots, they're your branches afterwards. Easy way. Asal and furu'. What's come out of the origin. Okay, so they mention here, وَالْمَدُّ أَصْلِيٌّ وَفَرْعِيٌّ لَهُ. They mention that mad are two types. Either they're going to be asli, yeah, or they're going to be far'i. There's no third type. وَسَمِّ أَوَّلًا, and we named the first one. وَسَمِّ أَوَّلًا تَبِيعِيًّا. This is also called tabi'i. What does tabi'i mean? Natural. Yeah? So like in Egypt you see yogurt and it says tabi'i, natural. Yeah? Asli meaning tabi'i, natural, original. Then they mentioned, so wasammi awwalan, and we named the first one. I'll put 1 and 2 on these. One and two. The reason why I've written up in that corner is that I've got a small board, and then I need to fill all this up as well. So, from my experience before, when I was young, I used to do 2 lines down here, right? Asli and far'i, and then I used to be like scratching my head. Now I start off in the corner. Asli and far'i. وَسَمِّ أَوَّلًا تَبِيعِيًّا. Yeah? So tabi'iyyan, sentence finished. وَهُوَ, and it is what? مَا لَا تَوَقُّفٌ لَهُ عَلَى سَبَبٍ. هو meaning asli. They're talking about asli here. مَا لَا تَوَقُّفٌ, it does not depend upon one, upon what? Sabab. Yeah? Meaning asli, it's a natural mad. For example, how do you read that? Or that? Or that? How do you read them? Bu, ba, bi. It's natural. Yeah? You can't read it as bu, because that would become ba, dhamma only. It's natural tabi'i. Bu, ba, bi. Yeah? Bu, ba, bi. Makes sense, yeah? That's your mad tabi'i. It's mentioned here, وهو ما لا توقف له على سبب ولا بدونه الحروف تجتلب. Yeah? The second part. ولا بدونه, and also without it, الحروف تجتلب. Meaning, they can't even be pronounced. You can't obtain a letter. Yeah? So you can't even read it. Like, وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَّعَكَ. These are all tabi'is. مَا وَدَّعَ. If I didn't read مَا وَدَّعَكَ, how am I going to recite it? مَا وَدَّعَكَ. مَا وَدَّعَكَ. No, it's مَا وَدَّعَكَ. Yeah? So you have to stretch it, it's natural. بل أي حرف, third line, بل أي حرف غير همز أو سكون. But if any letter other than the hamza or the sakoon, yeah, جاء بعد مد, comes after a mad, فالطبيعي يكون. Then tabi'i will occur. Meaning exactly what I've just explained to you. If an alif, waw, or ya, 3 mad letters. Yeah? Waw needs a dhamma before it, like boo. Alif needs a fatha before it, like ja. Ya needs a kasra before it, ji. Okay. If they don't have a sakoon after it, or a hamza after it, and they can have any other letter from the Arabic alphabet after it, it's always going to be tabi'i, natural. Yeah? Like Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki. There's your alif. Yeah? Asli. Zabar before it, fatha. Ma. After it, there is skoon. No. Is there hamza? No. Tabi'i. Okay. Even in this scenario, they're both identical. Mim with the alif saghira, alif khanjara, the dagger alif is called, or alif saghira, the small alif. Yeah? That's also ma. Is there a hamza or sukun after it? No. Mad tabi'i. Makes sense? Say for example, Yusufu. Wow, it's got a sukun on top of it. Before it is dhamma, so it's mad. Definitely. Is there a sukun after it? No. Is there a hamza after it? No. Mad tabi'i. Yusufu. Yunus. Yeah? Yaqub. Same thing. They're all identical, yeah? Okay. Now, which I want to say, ya. Example for ya would be miqatu. Mi. Is there sukun after it? No. Hamza? No. Mad tabi'i. Alif. Is there sukun after it? No. Is there a hamza after it? No. These are your mad tabi'is. Okay? And the ulama give you one example with all three in there. The ulama say to you, learn one example, which is Nu Hi Ha. Just learn that example. Nu Hi Ha. All three in one word. So waw, ya, and alif. Mad asli, and mad asli. Mad tabi'i, mad tabi'i. Make sense? Very simple. That's what your mad tabi'i is. Now, what's the duration of mad tabi'i? Two harakas. Yeah? Not more than two harakas. So, mim fatha ma, mim fatha alif, ma double. Not maliki. That's too much. So look at maliki, li. Look how short your li is. That's one harakah. The li times two. Maliki, maliki, maliki. Enough. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Not Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. That's over exaggerating and it's incorrect. Yeah? So just open, close, nice and with a simple flow. Fluency, inshallah. Now, if that's mad asli, mad tabi'i, because this one doesn't need a sabab. It doesn't need a reason. It's natural. You can't read Quran or you can't read it without elongating it. But far'i, it needs a reason. And the reasons are hamza or a sukoon. Hamza or a sukoon. If hamza or a sukoon come after a mad letter, okay, then what's going to happen? It's going to be called mad far'i. Now, mad far'i has types. Okay. But let's see how quickly we can get through this. So the first type number one. Let's see what they mention. Wal-akharu, and the second one. Akhar meaning the last one, meaning the second one. Wal-akharu al-far'iyyun. Line number 4. Yeah? Wal-akharu far'iyyun. It is the far'i, the branched out. Mawkufun means dependent. Yeah? Dependent. Ala sabab, upon a sabab, upon a reason. Yeah? Ka hamzin. Ka means as. Hamzin, hamza. There you go, the first hamza. Ka hamzin, aw sakunin, aw a sakoon. They just koon. Musjala, generally. Okay? They put that there to balance. So, musjala. Hurufuhu thalathatun fa'iha. There are 3 letters, okay, in the mad. So, if letters are 3, fa'iha, so memorize it. Jamzuri kick. Min lafzi wayin. Yeah? So they also mention the word why rather than alif waw and ya. Why do they mention it as why then? Why not alif waw and ya? If you look at all the Pakistani Tajweed books, they say alif waw and ya. Why alif waw and ya? Because they go into the tartib of alif batasa. They say alif waw and ya in the sequence of alif batasa. But Sheikh Ibn Jazar has got nothing to do with that. He's like, mate, see you later. We're sticking with the Y letters. We might make our own. What's easy? Why? Then why? Why? فمن لفظ واي وهي في نوحيها. And these are found in نوحيها. These are مد أصلي. Then they mention والكسر قبل الياء. When there's a kasra before the ya. So kasra before the ya. He or be. Okay? قبل الياء. وقبل الواو ضم. And before the waw there is what? A dhamma. Shartun is a condition. وفتح and a fatha. قبل before alifin before the letter alif. يلتزم. Okay, always. Always. Okay? Always you have to adhere to it. Always you have to follow it. وَاللِّينُ مِنْهَا. Then they mention there's also a lean. وَاللِّينُ مِنْهَا الْيَا وَوَاوٌ سُكِّنَا. The lean letters are waw and ya. When sukkina, when you have sakoon on it. Meaning waw and ya when they have a sakoon on it. And before it is what? Maftuh. إِنِنْفِتَاحٌ. Yeah? قَبْلَ كُلٍّ أُعْلِنَا. If and when it is maftuh before, okay, the ya and the waw sakin, you're going to do mad lean, like bayna, bayta, okay, bayta. Bayta. The ya is sakin. Before it there's a fatha. Bayta. I was talking about the sifa yesterday. Ease. Okay? Easy. Lean. Basically, they do mad tabi'i. Mad tabi'i. Natural mad. It doesn't need a sabab. Sabab only comes on hamza and sakoon. Okay. 1 second. Okay, let's go to page number 69. Let's look at the far'i, the branches. Then we'll come back and go through examples. Next part they mention للمد أحكام ثلاثة تدوم. For mad there are 3 rules. Okay, 3 hukm categories. Okay, always. Tadum from the word da'iman. وحي الوجوب. Number one is wujub, wajib. Second one, والجواز, okay, permissible. واللزوم, and necessary. There are your three categories of hukm, ruling. Then they mention فواجب إن جاء همز بعد مد في كلمة وذا بمتصل يعد. When a mud letter with a fatha before it and a hamza after it happen to come in a single word. Yeah? Number one word. What's going to happen? Mad muttasil. Simple. And they mention what here? فواجب إن جاء همز بعد مد في كلمة وذا بمتصل يعد. I think the word fawajib, meaning it's wajib for you to make it long. This mad is wajib. Don't shorten this mad. Mad muttasil, you can't read it as ja'a. No. You have to make it long. Then they mention the second point, number two. Number two, they mention here, وَجَائِزٌ مَدٌّ وَقَصْرٌ. In the next one they mention, it's permissible to maddun, make long, qasrun, make short. In fusil, if the mad letter and the hamza after it are in two separate words, yeah, then you can make it long or you can make it short. كل بكلمة وهذا المنفصل, and this is known as munfasil. So here, munfasil. For example, bima, unzila. So look at, there are three different words here. Ba in Arabic is separate, which means with, like Bismillah, with the name, yeah, or with name. The ba, with. Ma, what. Unzila, being revealed. Yeah? These are two different words here. It's departed. So where's the mad asli? So if I take this out, that's the mad asli. Bima. Yeah? After it, there's a hamza. And that's automatically going to become far'i. But because it's two different words, munfasil. Munfasil means broken. You know, like in Arabic, when you have a book and it says fasl al-awwal, fasl al-thani, fasl al-thalith. Fasl means chapters. What's a chapter? I mean, the book's been broken up into chapters, divided. Yeah? That's what fasl means. Yeah? To divide something. Yeah? So munfasil, what has been divided. So meaning, mad letter is separate, hamza is separate. Muttasil, ittisalat. In Egypt, there's a mobile phone network called ittisalat, connections. Muttasil means together. Yeah? Like joint, muttasil. I'm standing joint with the whiteboard. There's no gap between us. Yeah? Shoulder to shoulder, straight in your rows. Yeah? Joint. There's no gaps. And that's infisal, fasl, divided. There's gaps. So here, muttasil in a single word. Munfasil in two different words. So here, you have the first word, and you have a second word. Then they mention ومثل ذا إن عرض السكون. ومثل ذا. And just like that, منفصل. Just like منفصل, we have another mad called إن عرض السكون. Yeah? A temporary سكون. A modern temporary سكون. Yep. مد عارض مد عارض للسكون. The temporary سكون, like in the words, and they're giving the examples as well. كتعلمون. Yeah? نستعين. Line number 4, the last two words. So like تعلمون. They're the two examples they've given you. If you're going to read it with a noon fatha, then you got waw sakin, before it is dhamma. This is mad asli. This is mad asli. Nasta'inu ya sakin, with a kasra before it. And there's no hamza or sukun after both of them. These are mad tabi'i. Yeah? The natural mads. Like ta'lamuna, nasta'inu. I think it should be. I've got fatha on it for nasta'inu. Yeah, nasta'inu. So these are natural mads. When we make this into a temporary sukoon, and the noon and the temporary sukoon, why? Because we're going to do waqf. We're going to stop on this letter. Yeah? Like Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. These are temporary stops, temporary sukoon are making. Yeah? So now what's happened, there's a mad letter, and after it there's a sukoon. Remember the two reasons, hamza or a sukoon. Yeah? This one is dependent upon a sukoon. So by me stopping and reading this as a, for this and this, I'm making it to a sukoon. When I make it to a sukoon, this is known as maddul arid, the temporary mad. It's temporarily. Why? This sukoon, depending upon the sukoon. Yeah, if I carried on, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Then does that apply? I can't go, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. No, incorrect. Yeah? La yajuz. Not permissible. Okay, so only two harakah when you're continuing. When you're stopping, then it's going to be following munfasil. So this mad is identical to, okay, and it's jaiz. Because what was munfasil? Jaiz, isn't it? Yeah, because look what it says, line number 3, wajaizun. Yeah, permissible. وجائز. So it's jaiz, maddun wa qasrun. You can make it long or make it qasr, short. What's qasr? Short. You know, like when I go from Birmingham to London, how many rakats do I have to pray for dhuhr? 4. I pray 4. When I go to London, I'm musafir. I'm doing what now? Qasr. Qasr means what? I'm reading 2 now. Yeah, that's what qasr means. Yeah, shortened. So qasr, shorten, tawassut, in the middle, tool, long, like istitala, yeah, tawil. ومثل ذا إن أعرض السكون وقف أو قدم الحمز. Then they mention أو قدم. Or if the hamza comes before. Yeah? You know, qadam, foot, to walk. One foot before the other. Yeah? That's why in books, they write muqaddima. Muqaddima means what? Forward. Okay, when you open a book and it says at the front of the book, forward, why do you call it a forward for? No, it's been brought forward. The introduction has been brought forward. They've taken snippets out of the book, khulasa, or a bit of a flavor out of the book, and brought it forward for you to read it as a starter. Like a starter, not a summary. Summary is at the end, conclusion. Yeah? Yeah. So introduction is what's been brought forward. It's introducing you to the subject. Yeah? So that's where the word muqaddama comes from. So here, when they're saying the word, oh, quddima, meaning it's been brought forward. What's been brought forward? Al-hamzu. Hamza has been brought forward. Yeah? Al-maddi. Before the mad. Yeah? Wadha badal. And this is what we call badal. Mad badal. So what's mad badal? When the hamza has been brought forward. So this is maddul badal. Yeah? Like here the hamza is being used. Yeah? But normally hamza is supposed to come after the mad. Like bima unzila ja'a. So this should have been, hamza should have come after the alif. What's happened here? The hamza has been brought forward. For like the forward of the book. Muqaddima. Muqaddimatul kitab. What's been forward from that book. Or muqaddimatul ilm. That what's been brought forward from that subject of knowledge. Yeah? So like muqaddim, I'm a shaykh in tariqah. And then you have a muqaddim. What's a muqaddim? The one that's been brought forward by the shaykh in front of everyone. Sorry, you can't see the shaykh. Shaykh's tired, mate. Don't sit there and wait. £20 to see the shaykh. So that's called a muqaddim, the bodyguard. What's been brought forward. That's where the word comes from. Yeah, muqaddim. So here, amanu, the hamza has been brought forward. The alif is after, hamza's brought forward. Amanu, or like imanan. Yeah? So they're giving you the example here as imanan. Okay. Ya sakin, hamza has been brought forward. Imanan. Yeah? Amanu. This is known as maddul badal. Badal meaning the mad letter, okay, alif, that's the mad. And the hamza have badal, swapped, changed over. How many is that now? 1, 2, and this was 3. This was 4. وَلَازِمٌ إِنِ السُّكُونُ أُصِّلًا. Now we're going to the last one. And the last one is what? Lazim. So lazim, necessary. وَلَازِمٌ إِنِ السُّكُونُ. And lazim is when there is a sukoon. Ussila. What does ussila mean? Asli, meaning permanent sukoon. There's a permanent sukoon after the alif. Why permanent? Because here we had a temporary one. Remember? Maddul arid, arzi. Yeah? We had a temporary sukoon here, innit? So this can't be the same sukoon, can it now? This was a temporary sukoon. Ta'lamoon, Muslimoon, Yaf'aloon, yeah? Alameen, Nasta'een, temporary. This is lazim, permanent sukoon. Okay? Permanent sukoon, that's always going to be there. It's never going to disappear. Just like this hamza is never going to disappear after this alif. Ja'a. It's never going to disappear. This can happen, bima, and you stopped. Yeah? You don't continue. Like for example, in the Quran, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. Stopped. Do you make it long? No. If I continued, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى. أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ Hamza. It starts with the Hamza. If I carry on, there is مد منفصل. If I stop, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. مد أصلي. This moment, أصلي. But as soon as I continue, it's become منفصل. Why? Because the Hamza after it now. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى. Then, so that's the permanent, always going to be there. Yeah, the Hamza. This one depending on if you stop, you can stop in it. Yeah, hence why it's jaiz. Mad alif sukoon. You might stop, you might not stop there. Jaiz. Yeah. So this was wajib. Wajib, yes, I'll put in there so you don't forget. This one was wajib, always. Jaiz. Yeah. Now, mad lazim here is identical to mad muttasil. Difference is there's a hamza on this one, and this one has a sukoon. Always there. Not already there, always there. It's never going to go away. This one's temporary. You can read it as nasta'inu. Yeah? Like إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Continue. You're not going to read إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. No. That's lazim here. Lazim, it won't come in this form. I'll show you the examples of them. Okay, so وَلَازِمٌ إِنِ السُّكُونُ أُسِّلَ. Lazim is when the sukoon is permanent. Asl meaning permanent. Always there. Yeah? Waslan wa waqfan. Waslan meaning when you're reading, continuous. Waqfan, even when you stop, it's there. It's always there. Isn't it? Teeth. Yeah? He ain't going nowhere. Yeah? Ba'da maddin, after mad, tuwila. Make it long. Yeah? Always going to be there. That's your 5. Okay. And I'll give you the example for this one. Say, yeah, but I don't want to use that example just yet. I'll use a different example. I'll give you. Example is what does that say? And what does that say now? Okay. What can you see here now? Shad. What's a shad? It's really a sukoon. You get that? Tashdeed. Remember, tashdeed, the shad only comes when there's 2 letters that have been merged together. And all the things that twice I've mentioned it before, third time I'll mention it now. When you merge in 2 letters, the first one has to be what? Sukoon. It has to be sakin. If not, you can't do idgham. First one always going to be sukoon. So for this tashdeed to exist, there is what inside there? A sukoon. There's permanent sukoon. Can that sukoon ever be undone? No, it can't be done undone. That's how it is. Permanent. So when they said waqfan, when you're stopping, kaffa, waslan, kaffa, and you can continue. There's no difference. Okay. How is this really? So if I open this up here, we do operation, open heart surgery, kaffa, fa. And there you spoon. So look, kaf, fatan, kaf, fatan. What type of idgham is this? Mithlain, identical. Two letters, fa and fa, identical, same characteristics. So what have they done? The ulama and the grammarians and the Arabs, they've merged the first fa into the second fa, into one fa with a tashdeed on there. Make sense? So this here is madde lazim. Lazim. No. Now here comes my question here. One of you should have asked me, what's the difference between lazim and wajib? If muttasil is wajib, shouldn't this be wajib? Why is this lazim? Don't think of it as hukm. Don't think of the ruling. Lazim. What's lazim in this? What's lazim? Here's muttasil. Here's lazim. That's the name of it. That's wajib is the hukm. Here the hukm is also wajib as well. Hukm doesn't change. It's also wajib. Lazim meaning, lazim, you know, like when I say to you, if the man gives the woman 3 talaqs, then talaq becomes lazim. Lazim meaning waqi', meaning it's happened. Yeah? So lazim here is not as hukm, is as what? As fi'l, as practical, it's happened. It's applied. You're not changing this. Meaning, you can't undo it and read it as kaf, then fatan. It's done. Yeah, it's like your, just like it, it's kafatan. Full stop. It's lazim, done. Make sense? That's not the hukm. Even though it's same as wajib, lazim, wajib, yeah? But the hukm is wajib. These are jaiz. Makes sense? So that's your module section complete. Okay? Now, after these 5, okay, so I'll put the number 5 on this one. So I'll leave this on board for tomorrow. Now, from here, Madd Muttasil is done. Munfasil is done. Madd Arid Sukoon is done. Madd al-Badal is done. Madd Lazim has just begun. Yeah? Under Madd Lazim, we have types now. Yeah? And then at the end of that, them types, then it's Khatima, where you wipe the sweat off your head and you say, Alhamdulillah, it's done. Yeah? Khatam. Khatima, Khatam. That's going to happen after Madd Lazim. So that's the only section we've got left, which is very interesting. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so I'll give you what the book, what we've written here on each one. So if we go back, if you look at page number 70, page number 70, if you look at the first one, Malaika, top of the page, yeah, page number 70, Malaika. In the blue bordered box, it says there, how many haraka? 4. 4 haraka. Okay, Mad Munfasil, the next one. What does it say? Not 204, 224. No. 2 or 4. Just 2 or 4. Okay? 2 or 4, not O. I thought you said 204, meaning 204. I wouldn't like to read Tarawih behind you, mate. Okay, Mad Arid al-Sakoon. This one here. How many is that? 2, 4. Okay, the next one, Imanan. 2. And the last one, Mad Lazim. Okay, now think about the 4 haraka is strict. 2 or 4, not 2 to 4. 2 or 4. 2, 4 or 6. Not in between them. Yeah, because if it was in between them, they would have written 2 and then 6 and line in between, do whatever you want to do. 2 haraka and 6 haraka. So which are the longest 2 mads? Yeah. Lazim, always. Arid can be. When you read Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. 6. That's up to you. If you're going to read it as 2, then the whole Surah Fatiha read it as 2. Like, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. If I'm going to do tawassut, yeah? Tawassut meaning in between the 2 and 6, 4. Then I'm going to read Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Keep it same. Yeah? Don't mix it up and mix and match and cocktail it all out. Same thing with this now. 2 or 4. Bima unzila. Mad Munfasil. So in this verse, in Surah Baqarah, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ. Comes twice, doesn't it? 2 Mad Munfasil in the same ayah. So if I'm going to read the first one, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ. No. I can't read one Mad Munfasil as 2, the next one I'm exaggerating the next one to 4. No. That's mockery. Yeah? Yeah, Quran is beautiful. He just destroyed it. Yeah? So you got to keep the first and the second same. So if I'm reading qasr, I do all of the qasr. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ. I'm going to make it long. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ. Yeah, no, okay. I don't want to rub this out. I'll do it for you, look. Imagine one. Let's do a table. Because these are your letters. Okay? These are your vowels. Vowel 1, V2, V3, V4, V5, vowel 6. Okay, now look. If, for example, I'm reading ma, alif after it, li, ki. Now I'm doing the opposite. We should have done Arabic way, yeah? Then we're going this way. So Mim, Fatha should be read here, right? One vowel in it, Ma. It's got alif after it. So we're going to read it as what? 2. Ma, li, ki. Yeah? Everyone seen that, yeah? Now, the height of this, the length of this, one vowel, and the length of and the height of this is different. That's half, that's double. I can't do this any longer. I can't read it as Maliki. Yeah, because one harakah is at 1. It has to be there. Does that make sense? Yeah? That's going to be double because the alif. Okay, now imagine I'm reading Nasta'een. I'm going to do waqf on 4. Nasta'een up here. My one harakah is here. There's going to be a big difference now. Same with Bima Unzila 4. Or if I'm going to read Al-Haqqa or Kafa. Yeah? Al-Haqqatu. Then down here. Big difference. So remember, now if my one vowel, one harakah becomes longer, so I'm going to read it very slow now, look. So, I read it fast, Tarawih type. Al-Haqqatu mal-Haqqatu wa ma adraka mal-Haqqah. Yeah? I made wama short, because I'm doing Tarawih. So Al-Haqqa done 6. But remember the length in your head, not my fingers. So Al-Haqqa. 3 seconds? Maybe 2.5 seconds. Al-Haqqa. But now measure it. Al-Haqqatu mal-Haqqatu wa ma adraka mal-Haqqah. See, my mouth became so long all of a sudden. Why? Because look at my first Hamza. See how long that was? I don't read as very fraction. The whole tempo, everything changes. Yeah, what my tempo is, what my one harakah. If my one harakah is like, but I'm reciting very slow. Like, say for example, قل أعوذ برب الناس see how slow that is. مالك الناس إله الناس. Very slow. And each one's going to become longer. But if I'm reading in Tarawih or Hadr, قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس. Only the ending I can make it long. Why? Because of mad arid al-sukoon. To make each nas long, I have to stop. Now, what I can't do is this. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس. What have we done here? With a sukoon on every single one. But what did I do? Break my breath. I must break my breath. So, you know when Tarawih, Imams are reading, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu, Iyaka nasta'een, Ihdina Sirata Mustaqim, Sirata Al-Zina Astaghfirullah. How they read? Totally wrong. Why? Because he just made sukoon, yeah, sakin, mad arid sukoon, at the end of Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. he has to break breath. He has to, not should, he must do. But no, wrong. Mockery of the Quran. If he's going to continue, then he must read Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Dina as-sirat al-mustaqim. You have to do that. So if you stop, then your breath must break. You must take a breath and breathe. But because they be under pressure, because the namazis are behind them, they control the Imam Sahib. The controls, Imam Sahib, you took too long. 1 hour 1 and 16 minutes today. Exactly. In Darul Quran, on the mihrab wall at the front, where the Imam stands, 3 different namazis have come up to me and saying, Imam Qari Sahib, put a clock at the front. Put the clock at the front so we can see it. I go, kyun? When you're reading namaz, do you want to look at the clock? Or when Imam Sahib is teaching, you want to be looking at the clock. Imam Sahib, 2 minutes over now. Astaghfirullah. I'll have a chat with him later. So you're always under pressure then, because everyone's looking at the, like Qari. Why do you call it a Qari? Even here you'll have it. Right at the top. Look, Imam Sahib's head's got bright lights in the mihrab. So I disagree with that. I think there shouldn't be a watch there. There should be on this side so Imam Sahib can look at it. And you being a namazi, you follow the Imam Sahib. Piche is Imam ke. So Imam Sahib reads the namaz at 2 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock. He reads it at 3 o'clock, you stand there and wait till 3 o'clock. So in Tarawih now, so Imam Sahib's trying to do the 99 miles per hour. Sport car. So he's making waqf on every single ayah, but he's not breaking his breath. That is incorrect. You cannot do that. You can't read Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin. No. Because look, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Madar Rizqun. Next one, Ar-Rahman. But when you join it, the Hamzatul Wasl goes as well. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Nur. You're joining. The Hamza Wasl has to go. Depending on which ayah is, like, that's like me reading Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illahu al-Malik al-Quddus al-Salam al-Mu'min al-Muhaymin. No, that's not how the Quran should be recited. It should be Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illahu al-Malik al-Quddus al-Salam al-Mu'min al-Muhaymin al-Azizul Shamsiyya Qamariya. So if it's Shamsiyya, you're doing idghams. And if it's Qamariya, then you're doing izhar. So the Tajweed goes out the window. So rushing when reciting the Quran is wrong. And it is better for you in Ramadan to recite one surah correctly than recite the whole Quran. Reciting the whole Quran, rushing and reciting incorrectly, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the Quran will send lanat upon you. Just because that, if each time you made a mistake in the Quran, and a hand would come out the Quran and slap you across the face, physically, then you'll realize. Because it's all, Quran sends lanat upon you, it's in the hereafter. You don't take it serious. You think, Chelsea, I'm okay. I've read it. I've done 3 khatams in Ramadan. I've done 4 khatams in Ramadan. No, it's not, So you need to basically read even if it's one ayah, read it nice and slow. Take your time on it. A question here on taqreer. Taqreer, or rolling the tongue. Easiest way to practice taqreer is to physically roll the tongue. Practice. And rolling the tongue, if you're into music or singing, your vocal coach will advise you that before you sing or recite Quran or anything, roll your tongue. It warms your voice box up. So it's like me when I come here in the morning to teach, I'm half asleep. Then I'm trying to sing, Yaqulu Raji, and your voice is all over the place. And by the end of the day, it's nice and warmed up because you're talking. So with me personally, if I was to recite in the evening, I'll recite better than I'll recite in the morning. So you practice. The practicing technique they use is rolling the tongue. Okay. Now with the taqreer of the ra, it's not of that magnitude. It's very light. ar, ir, ur, ra, ri, ru, ru. Even that's excessive. Okay? So I'm doing it excessive just to show you. If I had read it, Rabbana, 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 Rabb, very so slight, and only I can hear it. So if I had never had the mics here, Rabbana, 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 Rabb, Rabbana, Rabbana. You're only going to hear it when I've got the mic literally close to my mouth. If not, you should never ever hear the taqreer. Taqreer is very, very light. Rabbana, Rabbana, ri, ri, ru. That's the only way you can practice, inshallah. And hopefully that answers your question and it helps you, inshallah. Any other questions? Yeah, Mother Leen will come to the same that. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll complete the lazim and the khatima, inshallah. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.